Hello, traders, investors, observers. I want to talk about BABA, Alibaba, AI, and FUBO. Are they fake outs or are they really down for good cause? As you probably know, Alibaba is being investigated for what they call antitrust or monopoly things with Chinese regulators, right? So, you know, I don't watch headlines, I watch the charts. And here's the BABA chart on the weekly. And if you look closely, you see this trend line here? I drew that line from, this goes back to 7/07/2020. And you could see, we could put a box in here pretty much, that this was a range, right? So did BABA run up a little too high and then have a correction here? Now this is on the weekly, and then a correction here. What happened? Look at the big gap. Now, I believe gaps get filled. I believe gaps always get filled on the daily chart. If you look at this gap, this thing really gapped down pretty much. It went from about $254 all the way down. So what did it drop? 40 bucks, 45 bucks? When all was said and done, it was like 45 bucks. So anyway, you're responsible for your money. I'm responsible for my money. This is what I'll see what the pre-market does first on the next trading day. And my hope is that they drop this again down to maybe 211. And then I'm going to get in a trade to the upside with a stop loss about $1 below wherever that is. So if it drops to 211 again or 210, I'm jumping in with a stop loss to protect myself. I don't believe stocks go down like this. We're going to talk about FUBO as well. And AI. Okay? AI dropped on news as well. FUBO dropped on news as well. Right? They were analysts complaining that they had too big of a run up. So I didn't put the indicators here. Let's see if we can get something going real quick. There's my exponential moving averages, right? And this white line here is my 200 day. Isn't that something? It dropped right off the 200 day. So who's to say that it's not going to bounce back to the 200 day? Do you really think this is going to run in some kind of range here? Look at the history of BABA. I don't know. We're certainly going to find out. Now, we had a big drop back here, right? Back in November. That could have been the COVID drop, right? But anyway, there's gaps here that need to be filled as well. But this gap, in my opinion, has to get filled. I think it's possible there'll be news that runs it in the other direction. And this is not advice. It's just something to watch. When you look at charts and you look at what they do and you start to see the manipulation in the stock market, you'll see that there's a lot of stocks that ran up that really needed a correction. So do they make excuses to correct it? I don't know. But here's FUBO. Okay? FUBO, somebody announced, no, I'm sorry, an analyst said it was crazy how big a run up this thing had. Right? Um, what was the other thing? I think there's plans on Fubo buying something like similar to DraftKings or something. I don't know. That was a rumor. I heard it from another YouTuber. Whatever. When this ran up to here, I knew it was high. I should have sold what I have. I'm still green. But what I did was I bought more on another account in a way to maybe sell what I have on my hobby account, my Robinhood account, and then get a position started on my interactive brokers. Okay? So, anyway, on your daily chart, there was a gap back here, and it never was truly filled. This came down, and I said, I don't know if I made a video, I said this gap was not fully filled, and then we saw the rundown on Fubo. Is it a fake out? I would love to see, even though I'm in it, I still would like to see this drop down to my dotted line here, which is my 13. Generally speaking, I like things to get close to the 20-day and then bounce off. I don't think Fubo's going to do that. I don't know. Anybody that tells you they know 100% is they're only guessing, unless they're a millionaire and they know they're going to be the one to drive it up. Okay, but then there could be a millionaire shorting it, right? So I think it had a nice run up. It would have been better to sell up at the top there and load back up, but since it was my hobby account, I didn't care. And I think there's something going on in Fubo, just like there's something going on in Netflix, Disney, Roku. Okay, these are disruptive markets. What are they disrupting? Cable, right? So cable is beginning to be, in some cases, security, internet security, internet provision, right? And then having some people stay with cable. They're paying them high bills. Not me. I'll pay for the connection. And if they raise that, I might drop the connection for a while until they come down on their price. So this is Fubo. I would like to see Fubo drop. And I was telling traders that it was going to go down closer to the 20-day. All right, what's this candle here? I'd like to see it drop to 40. If this drops to 40 really hard Monday morning at open, then I'm going to add to my position on interactive brokers and then set a stop loss for the whole trade. That's my plan. You follow your strategy. But that's how pretty much it looks to me that they're gonna drop again. Now if they run it up, I don't know what I'm gonna do. I'm just gonna watch it maybe for another day. So that's Fubo. Is it a fake out? You had 2 days of running down here. They're shaking out some people. They're scaring people. They're coming out with articles on it. And look, I've been around trading long enough to believe for myself that there's no coincidences, even articles that come out. AI. An article came out about AI that they compared it to how expensive snow is as far as, what the company is worth, that kind of thing. So look it up for yourself. I don't even word it. I don't read it. I'll listen a little bit to what they're talking about and look at the chart. Okay? And that's what I did with this. I think it's a low, but personally, I believe they'd like to see AI sort of mirror what Snow did. Okay? Become an expensive company looking towards the future. So I'm holding on to what I have on AI. I'm very far up anyway. It didn't bother me that they dropped it. But I'll show you what I looked at here. Now, because this is a new IPO, you can't really go too much by the daily, right? So you could look at your hourly in a sense as if it's the daily. The daily is very important for stocks that are established when you're looking at charts. Okay? This is what I did. I said, isn't it funny that they dropped it right here on this day? And so I brought it out to the hourly, and I went back a couple of days and found out that that is not a coincidence. That level made sense back here when they dropped it hard, trying to shake out people. So what did they do? This day they dropped it hard, but they stopped at a previous low, 3 days previous, something like that. And then they ran it up to the all-time high. And then they've been selling it, but holding the line. Now, this is what you can look at. This is important when you're looking at charts. This is AI, C3AI, also known as. They dropped it here. The next day, even though they were selling off, this low of the day is higher than this low of the day. That's important, okay? And in a sense, if you look at this, you can make the argument that it's forming a bull flag if you put a flag starting back here and then draw these lines. I don't like to mark up my chart and make it look like I know what I'm doing when I'm doing a YouTube video. But I like the action on AI. I'm in it. I started making money off of this trade on the IPO itself. I got in late. I wish I had got in late the first 5 minutes. But I pivoted. I flipped it. I went from, I think I started trading it at 120. Took it up to 126, sold my shares. And I got stuck at 120 flipping it, right? It wasn't a lot, but it didn't take a lot of shares to make money off of it the way it was moving. And then I got stuck and I just waited it out. And when they drove it down to 100, I added to my shares, and now I got a nice little even. And I sold off, took profits, and then when it came down, I added to my position again. I don't know if they're going to drop this hard. I don't know what they're going to do, but I personally believe AI is going to be a name that matters in the future. Okay, so I don't want to bore you any further, but that's my view on these guys. And I'm going to make the title on YouTube, is it a fake? Is it a true sell-off, or are they faking us out? Have a good one. I hope you had a Merry Christmas.